Hey everybody, my name is Paul Eston Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And speaking of, we're streaming live right now simultaneously. Technology in 3 different places. Heavy on Jets, the Facebook page. We got over 20,000 of you crazy Jet fans out there. So make sure you like the Facebook page for articles, memes, podcasts, and all that funny jazz. And personally, we're on 2 of my channels, youtube.com/boygreen25. Give a brother a like, a subscribe perhaps, and of course on my Twitter account @boygreen25. And I am not alone. We've got a very special guest, a collab that I joked on Twitter earlier that no one asked for, but quite frankly, we did. We had Jet fans saying, Paul, you got to get this guy on the show. So without further ado, let's welcome him into the room. The legendary Jets Central, 27.3 thousand subscribers. The last time I checked, I need like one of those update bells, like the running thing at the stock exchange or something for all the subscribers, because he's just got so gosh darn many. But let's bring him in. Jet Central, what's poppin', baby?
Paul, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Well, this is awesome. So first off, for those who don't know, we've only interacted like privately. This is the first time camera, you, me on the same channel. So I got to be honest, this is beautiful. And really, what sparked this is something, of course, we'll talk about here. We're going to be doing a live stream, everybody. So no matter where you're watching, feel free to drop a question if you have for my Jet Central partner of choice. And by the way, make sure you subscribe to his channel if you aren't already. Although, according to his subscribers list, everyone on the planet is already subscribed. But if you haven't already, jump on the party and feel free wherever you're watching, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We can see your comments and we will get interactive with you on the show. However, the reason why me and Jet Central linked up is I just happened to be invited. My good buddy, Leger Duzable, 10-year NFL veteran and former Jet. He DM'd me and normally does when he does his Twitter spaces, which, by the way, is a really cool community. If you guys want to just listen to really cool people on Twitter, he always DMs me and says, hey, Paul, you want to hop on? I'm about to talk Jets. I'm like, of course. I got to hop on to talk some Jets with you. So it was him, me, Connor Rogers, a couple other people, and they're just talking about the draft. And people asked the question about Quan Alexander, the free agent linebacker, and Larry Ogunjobi, the other free agent. And there's been a lot of rumors and speculation the Jets could sign one or both. The Jets hosted Ogunjobi on a multi-day visit earlier this offseason. Same thing for Quan Alexander. And Leger said, not just hope, did they not only host him on a visit, there are contract offers, booyah, slapped on the table for both of these guys, and he believes that it's up to them. They're take it or leave it, quote-unquote, offers for each player, and again, we have a month and a half and change till training camp, so it's up to them whether or not they're going to sign it. Jet Central, my good old buddy, old pal, spots that on the Twitter sphere and says, hey, baby, I'm going to do a YouTube video about it, and I may give a mention to the old boy Green. And I was stunned, shocked, and humbled, of course, with that lovely endeavor. And by the way, that video is up to like 12,000, another ho-hum day at the Jet Central neighborhood. But I want to ask you, Jet Central, to start this off, I'm going to put you up against it and give you a question to consider. If you could only sign one, Leger Duzable, an additional point, by the way, he said for the Twitter spaces, he believes, his educated guess, is they will get at least one. He believes there's a world where they realistically get both on their deals. But if they could only get one of those two, Jet Central, who are you signing?
Yeah, so I mean, right off the bat, I would love either. I think whether the Jets bring in Alexander or Ogunjobi, I'd be
Sure.
totally pumped up. But if it was my decision and I could only pick one, I think I would go with Larry, just because I
Ooh,
look at the
okay.
positional depth right now, and
Yeah.
also not only is he coming off just an incredible season. You just take a look at the pass rushing numbers; they're insane. And he was also due up for a really big contract. Unfortunately for him, he had
Yeah.
his didn't pass the physical. Bears pulled the offer, which sucks. But all in all, Larry Ogunjobi, man, this guy's I think he would come in and be just one of the staples on the defensive line. And it's not a knock against Quan Alexander by no means, but I look at the weak side linebacker position. There are things that you can do. You can maybe try to bring in a Deion Jones if he gets released from Atlanta on
Oh,
a
yeah.
relatively cheap contract. You also have guys like Sherwood and Najee Dean on the roster. I just feel like Larry, from a talent perspective and from a production perspective last year, he would be a total upgrade in the middle of a 4-3 defense.
And it's hard to describe. It's 7 sacks on the interior for any player. That's good, but that's juicy. That is what I'm talking about for the interior. And you have to consider all the talent the Jets already have. And again, you mentioned it sucks for Ogunjobi, and Leger is a good buddy of Larry's, and it just stinks. He had $40.5 million on his table, which I believe about 27-ish in change was guaranteed. So he had that money, and unfortunately failed the physical. That's apparently, from what I've heard, scared off a lot of NFL teams. Like, whoa, okay. And now that we're here in June, this is the unfortunate reality. $40.5 million is no longer out there for Larry, and now he has to come to the harsh realization that since that money is not coming, is he just going to take a 1-year deal and once again do it again? That to me is kind of sad for Ogunjobi in his own sake, but it looks like a 1-year deal to potentially reset the market could be where he could potentially go. And while it sucks for Larry personally, for the Jets, hey, that's very Morgan Moses-ish. Could potentially have that kind of impact, perhaps.
I was literally just about to bring up Morgan Moses. It's similar because Moses, was brought in late last season, right? Way past the free agency frenzy, first couple days, way past the draft. I think it was either June or July.
I think you're right. Yeah, I was on vacation. I was heading to vacation. I pulled over when I saw Jeremy Fowler tweet out. He was like, booyah. So I hear Morgan Moses released. Now, and, all of us Jet fans, immediately when anyone's released, could be a good fit for the Jets. Let's go to the video sphere. Let's put something out there. And then when Jeremy Fowler says, ooh, Morgan Moses, the Jets are close on a multi-year kind of deal, I'm like, sweet Lord, honey, we got to pull over. I'm like, this is phenomenal. So I'm like, pull over. I'm like, I got to do a quick tweet. And we tweeted out. And then it was weird because despite what Jeremy Fowler said, the deal really didn't happen immediately. And I'm like, what the hell? Did I tweet some nonsense? Did Jeremy Fowler catch a stray bullet? What happened here? And eventually he does come into the fold. So it was, I believe, if my memory serves correct, it's all, I'm getting older. I got a few silver whiskers in the beard now. But I believe he was released by Washington, weirdly, like at the end of May, because they drafted, quote unquote, his replacement in the draft and kind of waited a while, and he just got cut. And again, for the Jets, it was like, oh, like from the gods. Morgan Moses, 96 straight starts just kind of fell from the heavens. So I think you're right. I mean, it was super late, and he was just a gift from the gods, quite frankly, trying to get a lineman that good. So.
Yeah, a lot of production, had a lot of starts under his belt last season. Whenever you can get a guy that late into the process for, minimal on minimal financial terms, it's a huge plus. It's pretty much always a win.
All right, let's get to a few YouTube comments here. First off, I'm going to work backwards here because this is something I jokingly address with Jet Central, but apparently I'm not the only one. So let's bring in Mike Cohen on YouTube. Okay, Jet Central, can you please give up your name? Now, before you do, Jet Central, or even think about possibly doing that, there is a man, and again, part of the thing I really love about this business is networking, meeting new people that do great work. And by the way, the Jets community is unlike anything I've seen. There's Jet Central, Jets Talk 24/7, Green Bean, Matt O'Leary. I mean, we got a lot of gods walking around this earth that we got to pinch ourselves and be lucky. There's a guy in Bill's land. I'm going to give it, his name is Bruce Nolan. That's not really his name, but he's taken on like this Bruce Almighty Buffalo Bills thing, and he refuses to give up his name. And anytime anyone asks, he's like, nice try, FBI. So he just hides behind his thing, and he uses it almost as a caricature. Obviously, I've done like the opposite. Boy Green, here I am. Find me. But can you give up your name? Have you ever given up your name? What's the story here on being Jet Central? And I will say, I think that's been a great part of your success, and you're a smart man. Jet Central, when people are looking up New York Jets, Jet Central, I would imagine, has got to be a thing as opposed to me, right? I'm Paul Boy Green. Subscribe to my channel. I think the Jet Central thing really works. What goes into that? What kind of went into the thought process? And can you answer Mike's question? Can you give up your identity?
Yeah, man, of course. Yeah, so my name's Ian, and
wow,
really the
breaking
whole Jets
news, everybody. Breaking news. Okay, go ahead.
So no, the whole Jet Central thing kind of started like years ago when I first made the YouTube channel. And there wasn't, so I'm from Florida, and I just never really had like a ton of access to and plus, like, growing up, like, without Twitter and, Instagram and stuff like that, like, it was hard to find Jets news, pretty much anywhere. It was, you kind of had to rely on, like, the mainstream TV networks and everything like that, and most of the time it was just butt fumble this, butt fumble that. Wasn't too helpful, so I'm like, there's got to be more Jets fans out here, because I grew up in, like, South Florida, so, like, heavy Dolphins territory.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. All my buddies are like Dolphins fans, big Hurricanes, Gators, everything like that. And so me, my brother, and my dad were the only Jets fans right around.
Mhm.
Those are the only people who I knew who I could talk Jets football with. And I'm like,
Sure.
there's got to be more Jets fans out there, right? There's got to be. And made the YouTube channel just Jets Central. Wasn't like a lot of Jet stuff on YouTube, and literally just started making videos just in the car, like on my way to work, on my way to school, and yeah, kind of just started from there. So I've just kind of stuck with the name Jet Central. But as far as like my actual name, I just don't. It sounds funny. It sounds kind of stupid. I just don't like to waste like people's time. I just don't like to click record and just jump right into the video. So I don't do like, hey, what's going on, like that whole thing. So yeah, it's Ian.
So on the opposite of that, apparently I love to waste people's time because I do a whole thing every video. Hey everybody, I'm Paul Eston. So that's kind of funny. All right, let's go over to this from Mike Cohen again. We love it when you do this, people. You support the channel. When you support the channel, that's great news. Let's go over to Mike here with the super chat. And again, this is how it works, baby. Look at that gold. Look at that nice color. Look at him pop up there. Throw a nice $10 tip as I'm playing the guitar on your local corner. Okay, and my two favorite Jet guys, Jet fan for over 50 years. That's what I'm talking about. This feels so different. I've never seen a draft like this in Jets history. I think it'll pay off in spades. Historic Go Jets. Mike, first off, again, thanks for supporting the channel of having cool interviews like Jet Central and other people. Allows me to buy the gear and do all kinds of fun stuff to make this happen. So thank you so much for that super chat, baby. You are now in the Boy Green Hall of Fame. And there's not a lot of people in there, so that is a nice honor. So love that. And B2B Paul, I love the way you're speaking. Thank you. God's gift. I just signed for it. Appreciate that. Thank you. And this is great. I'm trying to see if you guys have any questions. Oh, okay. Mike's from Port St. Lucie. There you go.
Yeah, Mike, dude, it's funny that you bring that up. I actually used to watch like a ton of Jets games in PSL at a bar called City Limits. I think they had like a Jets thing there. I grew up like maybe 45 minutes to an hour south from
Oh
PSL. So
wow.
yeah.
Oh hey. Oh wow. Okay, let's go through here. I wish I go back to the traditional uniforms again. I like the ones. So there's been an evolution. The Kelly green, I think, is a nice touch. I hate the new rules with the NFL. I don't. They say it's a safety thing that apparently you can't have multiple versions of your helmet from whatever. I don't know, whatever concussion technology they've added to the helmet, so it limits your throwback uniforms, and that's why the Jets can't have them as often. I love, and apparently this is a hot take, I love the New York Titans uniforms. I love those throwbacks. Those to me are amazing. I have a lot of great memories in the within the last decade plus of the Mark Sanchez hot dog. You had the blowout against the Cardinals where they went crazy on that Kurt Warner team with Brett Favre and Lavergne Skulls and everybody. So that's good stuff, guys. Keep some of the comments and questions going. We only have Jet Central for a few more minutes here, and I'm going to be hopping on over to Jet Central, popping that cherry, hopping over there. That should be a doozy as well. But Jet Central, let me ask you about this. I've seen all your videos, quite frankly. I've been a guy for a long time that's really enjoyed your take, but I'm going to be honest, from your videos, you are I'm not sure if you're on the optimistic side. Are you a pessimistic fan? Are you a perfectly news guy right in the middle? Hey, it is what it is. But what is the optimistic meter for you heading into this 2022 season? Because it feels like some things are popping. It feels like some things are bubbling here, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like I feel like I'm optimistic, but I
Okay.
always try to look at everything kind of subjectively, like almost if I was a fan of another team. And like I was saying too, like just being from Florida and like, growing up with not really having any Jets fans around, like my best friend's a Lions fan. Like I was saying before, like a bunch of friends that
Yeah.
are Dolphins fans. Like nobody really looks at the Jets in like a positive light. So
Yeah.
it's always kind of like I personally, again, I personally feel like I've always been a little optimistic, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I have like a bunch of different perspectives from people that don't really, care that much about the Jets.
Mhm.
But look, as far as the season is concerned, I'm optimistic. Like what more could a general manager have done? Like there's
Sure. I
too
mean,
many things that are lining up. The 3 first round picks, like not every team can say that. Like how how often does a team actually have 3 first-round picks, a high second included, brings in multiple free agent starters, upgrades at major positions of need, Salah going into year 2, Zach Wilson going into year 2, having some core pieces on the roster already. And, we talked about Quan and Larry Ogunjobi before, but,
Sure.
still in the market to upgrade this football team. Yes, of course, AFC East is stacked. The AFC, as a conference is stacked. But at the end of the day, like, I personally, I feel like the Jets have done everything that they possibly could in a realistic sense to get better.
And let me ask you this: are you saying playoffs?
Yeah, I know I said I was optimistic, but I don't think I'm going to say playoffs right now. For me, I'm gonna. For me, I think I'm gonna go with the 7 to 8 win mark. I think if we could get
Not
there,
bad.
given like how difficult the schedule is, and the how hard the other teams are that the Jets have to play against,
Yeah.
it's pretty brutal. But at the same time, we can't be a bottom feeder, right? We can't be in the cellar forever.
Yeah.
And again, the Jets did so many awesome things. So I'm expecting 7 wins. I think if it's anything short of that, I'm going to be disappointed, a little angry. But 7 or higher, I think that's really the goal.
All right, tell us, what game do you have circled on the schedule? Could be for whatever reason, personal reasons. You got all those dolphin buddies up there, and again, I apologize for that. That must be terrible. So you have all those fish people over there. So is it like whatever the reason is? What is the number one game you have circled? Whether you're just excitement level, personal investment, what is it? What game do you have circled?
So it's the early matchup against the Bengals. I mean, right off the bat, they were in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, so right off the bat, they were in the Super Bowl last season, and I just feel like from a schematic standpoint, the Jets match up well with the Bengals. Obviously, the Jets beat them last year, which was pretty cool. But I think if you could take away the deep ball, which is something that the defense is just based around to begin with a lot of cover 4 and cover 3 and whatnot. Because when you think about the Bengals passing game, you think about Jamar Chase down the field. You think about Tyler Boyd over the middle of the field, everything like that. Joe Burrow just slicing teams in the intermediate and again deep parts of the passing game. I think if you could take that away, it's not a shot against Cincinnati by no means. I mean, they're a great football team, but they are young. They still have a really young coaching staff, and I'm pumped about that game because we start off pretty tough against Baltimore and Cleveland, but then I think it's week 3 that it's either week 3 or week 4 we take on the Bengals.
Week 3,
and yeah. So week 3, obviously, AFC North just starting off with 4 straight AFC North games is pretty crazy, but 2 really tough games to start off the season, to come back and possibly get an upset win over the team that won the AFC last year. I really think that could like jumpstart this team and really get them going in the right direction.
All right, Jet Central, stop being humble, okay? We beat those Bengals with our C-plus team last year. Now we may have our A-plus team. I mean, come on, man. We got to smack those Bengals. And the thing that I love, though, from last year, in all seriousness, is that there's no way the Jets head into that game scared. I don't care what happens in the first 2 weeks. You're in week 3, we're like, this team coming up in here. We smacked this team last year. Now we got Zach Wilson, CJ Uzama revenge game. I mean, we got some juice, man. We got some real chutzpah here. And I know a lot of people made fun of it because basically I've accepted my place in Jets Twitter. I'm the weird video guy. When someone says something about the Jets in some field anywhere on the internet, I clip it and I bring it here. And it's funny, I clipped the Bengals head coach, Zach Taylor, earlier in the week. Sometimes coaches just say this. When he brought up the Jets, he said, we're not overlooking the Jets. This Jets team could surprise us. And I screen grabbed and said, wow, Zach Taylor thinks the Bengals are on upset alert this week. And Bengals fans were like, LOL, we're going to annihilate your scrub of a team. And it was just interesting. And then we bring the clip back, obviously, after we know what happened in the game. And so I guess we'll have to kind of see what happens there. I'm seeing we're getting a million comments here. We won't be able to get to all of you because we only have a limited amount of time, guys. But I'll throw this one up. I just saw this one pop in from Danielle Jones on Facebook, which, by the way, thanks for the support, Danielle. Which rookie do you guys expect to give us the most production? Jet Central, let's put your name on the line. Who are you willing to put your career on the line for that you believe is just going to pop here in 2022 among the rookie class?
Yeah, I'm going to say Garrett Wilson for me. Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. To be fair, I do think most of these rookies are going to be getting a lot of playing time, a lot of volume, whether it's both on offense or defense. But I think for Joe Douglas to be sitting there at spot number 10 and to not trade down, to not take an offensive lineman, to pass on major talent there and go
Yeah.
with a wide receiver when the team already has Corey Davis, they already have Elijah Moore, drafted a cornerback at spot number 4 in
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner. And, you know, and it's kind of funny how things worked out because the Jets ended up with Jermaine Johnson. But in the
Right.
moment, you know, I thought that Jermaine was going to be the pick. You know, like he
Mm,
was on there was so much smoke there. And for this offensive staff, for this front office to select a guy in Garrett, I think you're not going to take a guy top 10 if you don't or really if you aren't going to feed him the football. And of course, you know, things can happen like, you know, oh, he might not be picking up the system as, you know, well as, you know, expected, everything like that. But, you know, looking at Garrett Wilson, he fits the offense beautifully. You can line him up on the outside, the inside, deep down the field in the short passing game. You could throw a bomb to him. You could throw a screen to him. You could set him on end arounds, reverses. You could just put him up in, put him in so many different situations. And on top of that, you know, this might not really affect his numbers, but I do think having a guy in Garrett Wilson on the field, it like if you're a defensive coordinator out there, you gotta make sure, like, hey, do we have this guy covered? Where is he? And
sure.
if we're so focused on Garrett Wilson, what happens with Corey Davis one-on-one on the outside? What happens with Elijah Moore? Like, think about Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson running just like, you know, little crossing routes
Nice.
over the middle of the field. Like, if you're a linebacker there, if you're a safety there, who do you come up and cover?
Yeah.
It's difficult. So I think Garrett Wilson's going to have the most production.
And by the way, a first-round wide receiver for the first time in checks those 21 years. I mean, for Pete's sake, they better get him the freaking football. Danielle, I love it. In terms of most production, like, I'll give you an obvious guy that, again, is in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and rightfully so. Garrett Wilson is a great choice. Breece Hall is going to get the biscuit. This dude is going to be running the football, catching the football. I know Michael Carter's there, but Breece Hall is a beast. I mean, he's got some real juice. And I would understand Danielle, Josh, Fred, all these people that are in the chat. Okay. I'm sure you didn't watch any Iowa State football last year. I don't blame you. But you know what? You're going to become real familiar with this Breece Hall guy. And a sneaky guy, which has just kind of changed my perception from draft to interviews and everything, is Michael Clemens, man. I think this dude's a freak. I think he may, if the situation presented itself, he would hit me in the back of the head with a brick. I mean, this guy is intense. I mean, he brings some chutzpah, and I like it, man. I think there's a lot of rotation. There's a lot of juice coming on that defense, but he's a guy who's sneaky good. I'm telling you, I think Michael Clemens may surprise us of all the picks, and he was our quote-unquote Mr. Irrelevant. All right, let's get maybe one or two questions in here, and then we got to sign off here with Jet Central. So one or two more questions. Keep them coming in. There are so many here. I'm like filtering them all out. So thank you guys for the support everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're getting all these in here. Let's see. Oh, wow. There you go. Let's bring up this. Dave Etchenberry here. Jet Central is proof that you don't need a badass beard to have a Jets YouTube channel. True. Green bean beard, boy, green beard. You don't. Look at that baby face over there from old Jet Central. That's true. See, you've been rocking. Is that the same look you've had throughout your entire Jet Central run, old Jet Central there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would just look horrible with a beard. Plus, it doesn't grow in nice.
No, it doesn't. No. Okay, well, there you go. All right, Dave. But that is good to confirm because you're right. All Jake Asman, you know, the more I think about it, everyone has a beard, but Jet Central, he's the one who's able to trademark this. That's good. All right, let's see. Running back Hall will pop. Yep. Okay, we got that here on Breece Hall, guys. One more question here. Let's see who has the one question here. You know what? I'll just throw this out there as they're coming in. Again, guys, make sure we'll be back on the live stream later this week. So, guys, make sure you check it out. So, thank you, Dave, for that one and a couple others. All right, Jet Central. I want you to give me the most sizzling hot take you have, but not. I don't just want one for the show, for the brand. As much as I'd appreciate that, the one hot take I want is the one that you believe in. So not just any just hot take you just throw it out there. What's one that you believe in that will happen? A bold prediction here on June 6th that you believe will happen this season that would surprise us. It could be offense, defense. It could be a win projection, an upset projection, a statistical, someone making the roster, maybe a training camp guy that you're buying in right now on the 90-man roster here on June 6th. The world is your oyster, Jet Central. I'm throwing you up a softball. You smack this puppy out of the ballpark. What do we got?
It's tough, man. To be honest with you, I'm not like the biggest hot take person in the world, but I think if I had to say, I think Tyler Conklin will be a top 5, top 6 tight end production wise, like catches, yards,
Wow.
touchdowns. I think Conklin will be like the tight end 1 for this football team. And I think at the end of the year, people are going to be looking at like for fantasy reasons and everything like
Yeah.
that. Like, yo, Conklin, man, like this guy's like the truth. I don't think the Jets would have brought him in. And same could be said with Uzama, but I do feel like when you watch Conklin, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more when you watch Uzama, he's like, as much as I like him and he's just a huge threat, big catch radius, everything like that, especially in the red zone.
Sure.
I have more faith in Conklin as just a consistent receiver. And obviously, both are coming off fantastic career years. But I really like the upside with Tyler. Just he could hurt you in a ton of different ways. And I think he's going to be like the third down magnet for Zach Wilson, like third and mediums. And we saw it a lot last year where Kirk Cousins would target him in critical situations. And that's an offense with Jefferson and, Cook
Sure.
behind him and like
Oh, yeah.
tons of weapons all over the place. One of my favorite players, Adam Thielen. And Conklin was still getting looks. Okay. So I think I really, really have high hopes for Tyler.
Wow. Top 5. I was just like, what's a hot take? And then booyah! You just dropped that sizzler. That little drop to my top 5, top 6 production. I always had to pinch myself because you want to know what? The Jets tight end room has been trash. And I'm, respectfully, I mean, I guess with all due respect that I could say whatever I want. With all due respect, this Jets tight end room has sucked. I mean, it's just been terrible. So the fact of the matter, they got a little Uzama action. They have Gronklin there now with the Jets and Ruckert, man. Oh, boy. If they just have a respect, I mean, top 5, top 6 would be gosh darn spectacular. But, boy, a competent tight end, like, look at some of the Matt Mulligan, Tyler Kroft, Ryan Grant. Like, who are these people? I mean, they've had absolute trash at tight end for so long, Jet Central, that would just be a welcomed sight. And I'm sure Zach Wilson agrees. So that's phenomenal. And by the way, I don't want to tease it until you have it, but it looks like Tyler Conklin's going to be joining the YouTube channel later this week. So keep an eye out on that, folks, for old Conklin, who will be hopping over. He's doing a wonderful Jets youth football camp. And we'll talk to you guys more about that later. Jet Central, before we get you out of here, come on, baby. Give me some plug. Give me some juice. Give me some branding. Where can everyone find you if somehow, some way they've been living under a rock for the last 10 years? Where the heck are you? Where can they subscribe? And give us a taste of what they get by coming to your channel.
Yeah, pretty much just daily content on the New York Jets. Run a channel just like Paul here, covering all things New York Jets, some breaking news, some trades, and everything like that. It's called Jet Central. And dude, I appreciate you having me on, man. We definitely have to do it again.
No question about it. Now that we've checked it off the ledger once, it feels a little bit easier to invite you back over to the home. Pop you a cold one. Give you a little hospitality if I can. So this was fantastic, guys. I saw we had a million questions in here. We only had a short time here with Jet Central, so we'll do it again in the future. Make sure, again, we got the weekly podcast. We got the Jet Zone. That's every Wednesday that we're live. So, guys, be back for that on the YouTube channel. Hit the like button on the video. Hit subscribe, and we will be back. And, of course, Jet Central dropping the daily videos. Make sure you check him out as well. Jets Central on YouTube. And also you can follow him on the Twitter and the Gram. All you kiddos out there on all those fun little apps. All right. Thanks, Jet Central. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, everybody else. We'll see you next time. Peace out, kiddos.